guys, Chris is just here with another Cozy Book Nook. This segment we're going to be doing The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, written in 1884. So, another classic. DB, why are you staring at me like that? I'm trying to work. Okay. Alrighty. Plot summary. I love the fact that this book opens up talking about the adventures of Tom Sawyer and how, Huckleberry knows about Mark Twain and stuff like that and about the book, and he's like, yeah, it was pretty truthful. Some exaggerations, but pretty truthful. So, in this book, you found out that after the last book, that Huck was adopted by the widow and her sister. They're both very religious. Huck's hating it at first. Yeah, Huck's not happy about the, really restrictive lifestyle. He's used to living, in the woods, like a little Neanderthal. But Tom, his friend Tom, asks him to stay, and he ends up doing that. And after a while, Huckleberry does get used to the lifestyle and all that stuff. He even starts going to school, he learns how to read, all that lovely jazz. And then Pap, Huckleberry's real dad, shows up because he heard about all the money they got from the last adventure. So yeah, he shows up demanding the money. The town judge and the widow try to get custody of Huckleberry, but the new judge is a dumbass, and he's like, oh, he's the bio dad, he has rights and all that stuff. The new judge even brought him into his own house and tried to reform Paps, but haha, joke's on him, a drunk's always a drunk, in this case. So, while all this is going on, Pap is harassing Huck and the widow's finally like, yeah, stay away from my house and this kid. So, Pap doesn't take too kindly to that, and he kidnaps Huck and drags him to the cabin in the middle of the woods. Poor Huck, he gets beaten and he almost gets killed because Paps got so drunk one night he thought he was a demon or something. So Huck's sick of this shit. He ends up faking his own death and running off. He ends up on an island in the middle of the river. While he's staying there, he even sees people out on the river looking for his body. They get close enough that he can see who's on the boat and everything. So after a few days on the island, he finds another campsite, and when he goes to investigate, he finds Jim, one of the widow's slaves. Come to find out, Jim ran away, because slavery sucks. They keep living on the island for a while. They live off the land. They also, loot things. They had a houseboat come by the island. They went in, they looted that all up, found a dead body in the houseboat. Jim wouldn't let him look at the body. Bad luck and all that good jazz. Eventually they get bored. Huck dresses up as a girl and goes into town to hear about latest gossip and whatnot. He learns from a woman while he's in town that Jim has a reward out on his head, and the woman's sending her own husband out to the island that they've been on because she saw smoke from their campfire. Huck and Jim hightail it the hell out of there. They go downriver. They get the idea to head north to the Free States. Yay. Good on you, Huck. They decide to go to the Ohio River and then take a steamboat north. But one night there was a ton of fog and they missed the turn onto the Ohio River. They also run into some bounty hunters looking for runaway slaves. Huck has a moral dilemma about hiding stolen property, but he ultimately does end up hiding Jim and saying it's his dad in the boat with smallpox and the bounty hunters like throw money at him and they're like, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. And then the night after that, that's when they get hit by the steamboat. So Huck ends up finding himself at the, Grangefords? Yes, the Grangefords home. They are southern up-and-ups. They are currently having a giant feud, like Hatfield-McCoy level feud with the Shepherdsons. And of course there's like a Romeo and Juliet bullshit where these two, one from each family, go and elope, and it ends up with such bad blood. It ends up in a gunfight, and like a lot of people died, and Huck's just like, what is going on? I need to get out of here. Luckily for him, Jim shows up with a repaired raft, and Huck hightails it. He's like, nope, thanks, y'all are nice, I'm out. A few days after that, Jim and Huck pick up a pair of con artists who are being pursued by armed bandits, I'm guessing? The bandits claim to be an English duke and a French noble, I can't fucking remember the word. Dauphin? I can't pronounce it either. Jim and Huck know it's bullshit, but they can't tell a couple of white guys to hightail it because one's supposed to be dead and one's a runaway slave. So they just put up with these two idiots as they're making their way down the rivers. Every stop they make, every town, they do like little small cons and shit like that. Then the big one shows up where somebody died and his relatives from England and whatnot are supposed to be coming, and they pretend to be relatives. They start liquidating the estate. Huck starts to feel bad, so he steals all the gold, hides it in the coffin, and tells the oldest of the family what's going on. So as they're about to expose the con artists via a weird plan, the real family members show up, and it's just mass confusion. During all the confusion, the con artists manage to get back to the boat just as Huck and Jim are pushing off. So they're stuck with them for a couple more days, doing even more cons, and then these fucking jerks end up selling Jim to a farmer. Huck finds out where they sold Jim, and he goes to go save him. And when he shows up at the house, the lady of the house actually mistakes him for Tom Sawyer. Come to find out, it's Tom Sawyer's aunt and uncle, the Phelps. They mistake Huck for Tom, who was supposed to show up any minute for a visit. So what Huck does is he goes on the road from the steamboat between the steamboat and the house, grabs Tom, tells him, hey, this is what's going on. Tom agrees to play along as his younger brother Sid. And Tom helps plan an escape for Jim, but he does it in the normal Tom Sawyer extravagant bullshit kind of way. Jim gets free, Tom gets shot in the leg, Huck has to go get a doctor for Tom, and Jim sacrifices his freedom so Tom is okay, and Jim ends up in chains. Once again, when Tom wakes up, this little shithead tells them that Jim has been free for like the past 2 months because the widow died and in her will let everyone be free. The escape plan was actually meant to be just like a fun little game, and lo and behold, Tom gets shot. You know what? The little shit deserves it. Yeah. After this, Tom's other aunt shows up, outs the boys as Tom and Huck instead of Tom and Sid. Jim also comes clean about the body that they saw in the boat was Pap's. So Paps is dead. He's not going to show up and hurt anybody else. And the Aunt Sally, the second aunt, offers to adopt Huck, and Huck is like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm going west. And that's how the book ends. So yeah, it's good paced. I love the read. It really shows how it was back then. Like this lifestyle and all that good jazz. I still hate Tom. He's such a little shit. Poor Huck, like the dad and all that good crappy shit. I just feel so bad for him. But yeah, the length of this book was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. It was not too long, not too short. It didn't linger in some areas. It was good pace and good flow. The one thing I didn't like is he did use the different dialect, and it was hard to understand Jim sometimes. But, like, I understand that's how it was back then, because they weren't educated and all that other stuff. My reaction? I like it. So I'd love to hear a discussion, start a discussion in the comments. Like, I'd love to hear from you. You tell me what you think. If you don't know how to start, here's some questions. You can answer one, or all, or none. And just be like, I hate you. Please don't be like that. It'll make me sad. But, yeah. Start a discussion in the comments with me. I'd love to hear from you. And I guess I'll see you at the next Cozy Book Nook.